Good afternoon, everyone. This is Furley Almonte, your host for Faces of Resilience. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a mind blowing episode, I promise you, because I don't normally broadcast at this time, but my special guest actually is coming from Netherlands. And of course, I am here in America, in New Jersey. And, we have to work the time differences, but oh my goodness, this really excites me more than anything because, as you can very well see, very, very soon, his story is not any other. Okay. First of all, I met Arjan. Erkel actually through a mutual friend, David Fagan, and also Isabel Dunadio from Top Talent JV Mastermind Group. That group is actually filled with like the most phenomenal professionals and visionaries that it's so wonderful to stay in that group and find all the most incredible powerful connections you can get. And I was practically in tears when I was sent a message by our friend David, telling me about your book. And then of course I checked you out, and what I read was like, whoa. I said I have to have him on my show. So if this is going to change your life, I am sure it will. Okay. Because many of us have gone through many adversities in life: death, divorce, disabilities, job layoffs, and, domestic violence, whatever it may be. But none of us could say that we have been captured and held captive and tortured, whatever it may be. That is one incredibly mind blowing story. So let me read to you the back cover of his book, Held Hostage. So this is a story about one man's story of trials and triumph after being taken in Dagestan. I think I'm saying it correctly. Arjan Erkel was working as head of mission for Doctors Without Borders when Muslim rebels brutally kidnapped him in the Republic of Dagestan, situated in Russia's turbulent North Caucasus. I think I'm saying it right. Guarded by heavily armed men in mass, Arjun spent 20 months, that's 607 days, in a dark cage measuring 5 feet by 6 feet with nothing but insects and rodents as cellmates. These days and nights um, tested his hopes and beliefs in ways that one will never even experience. You will be inspired by what Arjun endured while he was held captive, in the kind of true life story that changes people's um, lives for the better, because it teaches by his powerful example of overcoming the odds. My goodness, this is resilience as at its finest. This is more than just a tale of survival. It is the start of Arjan's life work that has now become a movement. There is much to be learned in these personal journeys of one's rise from prisoner to freedom fighter. Woo! My
Yeah,
goodness. Okay. It was not easy reading from like my little iPhone here. But anyway, welcome to the show, Arjan. Am I saying
yeah.
it correctly, Arjan?
It's Arjan. Arjan. So the J is
Arjan.
very short. Yes, Arjan. Hi,
Oh,
Ferdy. Thanks for having you here
oh my
today.
goodness. What a welcome treat to us. And I'm sure you are going to be sharing with us the most incredibly powerful life lessons from your
Yes, I
story.
will. I will.
Well, you are in Netherlands, right?
Yeah,
What time
yeah.
is it
Netherlands,
right now?
Rotterdam. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, so it's dark. It's winter, so it's good to see you. The sunshine. Hi.
Well, actually, it's 12 o'clock noon here in New Jersey, in the East Coast. And so that's why it's like, oh, this is what I love about having podcasts, is that you're able to reach people from different parts of the globe and become actually develop and begin to develop friendships. And I know that this is going to be one of those, because now you are my resilience idol.
Ah,
Barney.
thanks. Yeah. No, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, and also thank you to David Fagan. Um, well, I cannot even begin to think of what question to ask you first, because I know that you wrote a book about your story. In your
Mhm.
own words, give me tell us, like I gave a little synopsis of what your story is all about, but why would you be kidnapped and taken as captive or hostage, whatever
Yeah.
it may be?
Okay. Yeah, well, shortly, if I talk too much, let me know. Just interrupt
No,
me.
keep
No,
going because we would
no,
love to learn all the juicy details of this because obviously it's not very often that we actually speak with somebody who has gone through this type of life challenge.
no.
We
It's
speak with
quite
so much
unique. It's quite
adversity,
unique.
not
Yeah.
this.
Okay. Now, I was working for Doctors Without Borders, helping refugees in the southern part of Russia, in Chechnya. There was a civil war between fundamentalistic Muslims and the Russian government. And then suddenly one day, my car was blocked. I was there together with the driver, and we knew kidnappings could take place. And then I saw three guys coming from the car that blocked us and walking towards our car. So I was in shock. I thought, yeah, they're coming to take me for money. So I stepped out of the car. I surrendered. I put my hands up in the air and walked towards them. Then they beat me almost to death. I was really thinking they're killing me. I started bleeding. I broke a finger. I fell in the ground. I felt the scent of the road, and then heard the guys even breathing while they were beating me up. Luckily, yeah, they took me into the car. Then they drove me off to a new destination unknown. So I was really fearful for my life. I thought they're going to kill me. They put a gun on my head, a gun on the chest, and they drove me off by all kind of potholes in the road. And every time I felt the gun, so I felt like crying. I wanted to beg for my life, but I knew it was a very tough macho surrounding. So I also thought, no, I have to present myself as a real macho as well. And so I told them in Russian, "Ya жить хочу." I want to live. So I didn't beg. I didn't plead for my life. And then they said, if you behave, we will behave. And then, yeah, it's a long story, of course, but they took me at the end to another group, which dug a hole for me. Can you imagine when you're kidnapped and people starting digging holes? But yeah, we'll tell you more about it later. Of course, they saw my fear and they said, no, it's really going to be a room for you. So they dug out a sort of a grave, basically, like 1.5 meter by 2 meters, 6 feet by 5 feet. And that's where I stayed for almost 20 months. And slowly, I set away my fear and my anger and my frustration and my how to call it? I felt so miserable, of course, and I felt so unjust. There was so much injustice because I didn't do anything to deserve this. And
Exactly. Hold
yeah,
on for a moment. Okay. So you were just doing like charitable work for
yep,
doctors without
yep.
borders, right? Are you a physician?
No, I'm an anthropologist.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, okay, to our viewers, what is an anthropologist? What do you do?
Like a cultural anthropologist is someone who studies non-Western societies. How do they live? How do they cope by nature? What kind of rituals they have? How do they celebrate their moments? So you learn everything from small cultures, and then we try to make conclusions about how it was in the past, but also how we developed our cultures from the past until now.
So, as an anthropologist, what is their interest in kidnapping you?
No, I was a director of Doctors Without Borders. So the first moment we started talking, they said we're going to ask $12 million for you.
Mm,
Really,
hostage. Okay. So
yeah,
ransom. Okay.
ransom, yeah, 12 million. But then I sort of started negotiating, and I got it down to five, but still five is a lot. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure so many of our audience are wondering, do you have a wife and children?
At that time, no, but now I have. I had a fiance, and actually in front of her house, I was kidnapped, and she
Oh my
became my power. I wanted her back, of course. I hoped she would wait for me. So I did everything to become stronger. I did all kind of push-ups, sit-ups, because I needed structure in my life. I didn't have anything. Can you imagine being in a cage under the ground with only one candle? So it's always like this twilight zone that you think you might die, and the insects wait for you to be to die, and then they start eating you. So that's the feeling I had. And
How tall are you?
say again,
How tall are you?
in feet 6.3. And so my head was always against the
Yeah,
ceiling.
that's why I was saying, like, if it is 5 by 6, if you're 6'3", so you're basically, you have to be scrunched to be able
Yeah,
to fit in, unless you were laying diagonally. My goodness. And
yeah.
now, if you were in that cage, were you fed? How did you eat? Did you eat the insects? What?
No, of course they want to keep me alive because I have the value of $5 million. So that was the good thing. But they,
Mm,
yeah, the deal was that they would feed me the same food that they were eating. So there was a door with a little, I don't know how you call this, with a little,
opening, a little opening.
yeah, and they fed me through this in the beginning because they didn't trust me. They thought I would escape. They thought I was a superhero spy, something like that, that could easily kill them. So they were really, really afraid that something might happen. And of course, they had guns. They were wearing masks, so I didn't see faces. No, you know that lots of kidnapping end up cutting off your throat. So I really feared for my life every day because every day could be the last. And it took me like a while, like 2 3 weeks, before I became stronger. And I
What do
think
you
the
mean
first step,
stronger? Stronger how?
yeah, because when you're in misery, you always tend to think about negative things. And I was also thinking about I will never see my parents again. I will never see my girlfriend again. I will never see the sun or feel warm water. I had to go to the toilet every day while two guys standing behind me with their guns pointing at me. So that was real
So,
misery.
just
And then
for a moment, for that toilet thing, because that was actually running through my head. If you're in that, like, how do you go to the bathroom? And so you actually could leave that cage
yeah,
and go to a toilet, except that you are being monitored closely while you're doing your business, basically.
yeah. I would have preferred to have my own toilet inside instead of it was outside in the bush and they dug a latrine
Mm.
and that's where they were waiting for me. But
How about showers? How?
no, once a week I was allowed with the bucket of water, and then just the Filipino way, the old-fashioned Filipino way.
The little scooper, right? Like,
Yeah. And then the interesting thing was I wanted to brush my teeth because the first 8 days they didn't provide anything. So of course I had all this white stuff on my teeth. So I asked them, "Can I have a toothpaste?" And they gave it to me. That was really cool. And they gave me a toothpaste that I asked for. And so I started to work on myself to stay clean, to stay in a structured life. Then I started to think about positive things. How can I influence them? How can I influence my own position? How can I maybe cook or read books or maybe even go outside? So I needed to make contact with them. That's one of my big lessons, is to make contact, to connect with people. If you really connect with people, you should be interested in them, and then they also show interest in you. So you always have the power within yourself to make a connection with people, but you have to look deep into yourself. How do you want to connect? How are you going to
my
connect?
goodness, like,
Yeah,
typical human being would probably be, like, I don't know, if I was in your shoes, I probably say, like, Lord, just let me die rather than have to go through this torture, right?
yeah,
But you thought very, very differently. Where did that come from?
yeah. That's a good question. I think it's also because of the feeling to win. I'm going to survive. My parents are waiting for me. The proud and honor. Sometimes we don't like this proud and honor issue, but I think it's also when you really win, when you make contact, you don't want to die. Then these things are also very strong. Of course, I thought about suicide. Sometimes I even thought about ending up in a fight on purpose so that they would shoot me, because of course I also felt indifferent at a certain moment about my own life. But then I thought my parents are waiting for me. I was only 32 at that moment. So I thought, I want to live on. I want to go back to Doctors Without Borders to help other people. My girlfriend is waiting for me. But also, I don't want to lose from those guys because my religion is stronger than their religion. They wanted me to become a Muslim as well. And I told them, no, I'm not giving up my own identity. So that's also a strong signal to them. Like, of course, you can fool around with me a bit, but I have my own borders, so don't
My
cross
goodness.
them. Yeah.
I admire your faith so very much. One of the things that I noticed about you sharing is that while you were even in the car and even while you were held captive, you kept saying in a very, very positive way, I want to live. In
Yes,
don't
sure.
don't kill me. It's so because I was watching your language and it's beautiful how you actually were able to even think of reframing the way you say things. Oftentimes also right now, even in our ordinary lives, right? We say how we say things, how actually changes the way things become.
Hmm.
Because when you say I want to live, basically you're saying it in a very positive way, in a very optimistic way, rather than don't kill me. And you can see that you're basically spewing fear, and of course you give them control over your life. And
Yeah.
it's now, how were you able to develop that connection, and did you become actually friends with them?
Not friends, but it was all about respect, building up respect. So, like you said, I could think about the negative things, but I had to be open to them, like curiosity. Why do they behave like this? Why don't they see me as a human being? So I had to feel empathy for them to make
Mm,
sure that they saw me as a human being as well. So that was really also very important. So I started to educate them a bit because they never said friendly things. They never showed any mercy. That they didn't say thank you or here you are, please. So I told them, please use those words also when you're talking to me. And they said, no way. But then for 3 weeks in a row, I said, thank you for the food. Thank you that I could go to the toilet. Please take my empty plate. And then one guy said, here you are, bon appetit, when he gave me the food. And I said, what do I hear? And he said, yeah, you're actually quite a nice guy. And so those little steps forward, but also it's building trust is about being safe for them, security. So when they forgot to put on their mask, I told them, put on your masks. I had one opportunity to take a gun. It was really scary, but also exciting, of course. I saw a gun hanging in the bathroom. There was a small bathroom, one by one. And yeah, I thought I'm going to kill them all and I'm going to shoot them. There were 60 bullets in two magazines. And then I realized I never killed someone. I didn't even touch a gun once in my life. So I thought, yeah, but I can shoot four people. But I made contact with them, and the nicest guy opened the door when I knocked on the door to start shooting them. And then I thought, okay, you better take the gun.
my goodness, you are one remarkable human being. You're a different bear.
No, yeah, but it's also you have to think, and sometimes you have to transcend a bit, like being in the helicopter view about what's going on, what can I change, what can't I change yet, because there were so many things to improve, and instead of thinking there's no way I can improve this situation, I thought I'm the one who's going to make the change. I'm here anyway, so from acceptance that this is the new situation, instead of being negative, I thought, okay, from acceptance I can build forward. So that's
You know
also
what? Funny how you're saying this, because obviously we're going through the midst of a pandemic, and we're somehow forced to adapt to the new normal. And back then when you were held captive, you were adapting to your new normal.
yes,
So we
correct.
we accept that there is no really clear end in sight. What I find really very remarkable about you is the fact that despite your circumstances, you actually found it as an opportunity to educate.
Yeah.
um if I may share with you, I remember my late spouse's father. He was like super, super awesome, and his name was Tristan. I
Mhm.
remember that he was telling me that if there are only two words that you have to learn to say in a different language, it's please and thank you. And so you did exactly the same thing, please and thank you. Did you speak in English or did you speak in another language?
No, we were speaking in Russian. I learned to speak Russian, but like you said, in situations that are new, you can always look for things to improve. But also, like in every job, in every job that must be done should be an element of fun. It's Mary Poppins, maybe you remember from the musical.
Yes.
And I was also thinking, I'm here anyway. In the beginning, they said it's going to take 2 months, so I thought, while I'm here, I have to make the best out of it, and I can learn something. So I improved my Russian for sure. I improved my knowledge about Islam, and then I also thought yeah, maybe I can improve myself because now I know how to be structured, how to be strong, how to have perseverance, how to find the power from within. But the most important thing is the internal freedom as engine to change. And so that's,
I
yeah,
love that. The mindset is basically your how do you like agent for change. I remember watching the America's Got Talent.
mhm,
It's a reality show, and there was a
yeah, I know.
gentleman there who actually was incarcerated for 37 years for a crime he did not
Yeah,
commit.
yeah,
And I remember him saying that even if he was held prisoner, he said his mind was free. So
yeah.
and I'm it's so awesome to hear people like you, so admirable that you can think that way, because not many people can. And so where do you even begin to muster that courage to adapt? Like, your resilience muscle is like far, you've raised the bar,
Hmm.
so to speak, in many resilience
Yeah.
levels. Now, how did talk to us about like how did it slowly basically build your strength, because you actually use it. I became strong. So,
Yeah.
how did it become like, strong?
In the beginning, I was crying for hours, and I felt pain and pity for myself. But then I realized it's not going to help you to change. It can be an engine, but then you have to move and start doing things in a different way. And like I said, at a certain moment, I thought, okay, come on, be a guy, be a man, and you're here anyway. In the Dutch, we say if you burn your bums, you have to sit on the blisters. I don't know if you have the same, but no,
Okay.
no. So it was also my own responsibility for choosing to go to a place which was dangerous. So then I thought, okay, you're here, make the best. Think about the positive things. Like I'm going to embrace my mother again. I'm going to drink tea with my mother. She's reading me fairy tales like in the old days again. I like the visualization, walking at the beach, being at home, eating with other people while I'm on my own. There's so much you can do with your imagination, and that's how slowly the power came back. Because I was there, but in my mind I was somewhere else. In my mind I was also thinking, what can I improve? Let's ask for books. Let's ask for a new ceiling because all kind of insects were falling down. And I asked for nails to put my clothing on. So there was lots of small things that I could influence. And I think, of course, it's not new, but I didn't know Stephen Covey. But yeah, he's absolutely right. There's things that you can influence, and the circle can become bigger and bigger. But most of the time, we give up. For example, I started to build up my six pack, and normally I tried before as well, but then
Okay.
yeah, then you think, okay, I give up. I'm going to drink a beer. I'm going to have chips. But I didn't have all these things. And then I thought, yeah, why do I need a six pack if they will kill me at the end?
Uh-huh.
But then I thought, no, for once, I'm going to to be motivated, and I'll
Oh
come back.
my goodness.
And even the guys told me, you should be happy that you were kidnapped. And I said, why? Yeah, because you look much more athletic. Yeah, so I think this is how it starts with small things that increases your own belief or the trust in yourself, and then yeah, also making building up rapport also gave them space for me in their life, and so
Hmm.
from two ways it became slowly easier, and they one guy invited me to sit in the kitchen while he was cooking, so there was also a big step forward. uh, After 6 weeks they gave me a book which was the most amazing book in the world. Can you imagine 24 hours doing nothing and then suddenly there's a book? So I read that book 15 times, but 15 times I could tell myself it's a new book. Where will it be about? So you can fool yourself, of course, in a
I
negative way.
really love like it made me think of the movie also 51 First Dates.
Mhm.
It's almost like it's always a new experience for you.
Yeah,
One of the
it's
things,
like Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. Do you remember that one?
no,
No.
Yeah,
You should watch it
but that's
tonight.
so beautiful how you actually created a whole different experience every single one. It made me think of also of the power of guided meditation.
Hmm.
Except that of course you guided your own and created like a different reality, even in your mind, to just keep you fueled with hope. I'm
Yes.
also curious regarding the negotiating part of it. I know
Yeah.
you said that they were asking for 20 million in the beginning, and yeah, how did that? First of all, were they showing videos or photos of
Yeah.
you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes I had to hold a newspaper, and those were the difficult moments because it would give me so much hope. And I thought, yeah, my organization is looking after me. Soon I will see my parents. I will see my girlfriend. I will go and swim and all the good things. But then, if the hope fades away, that makes life really miserable again. And then yeah, I lost my strength and fell down on my knees and bumped my head against the walls, of course, and felt so much frustration and tears from fear, but also from anger. And then I had to recharge myself again by playing music in my mind or watching movies in my mind. And so I needed all my power. But that's, yeah, people always think, yeah, why should I need all my power? But of course I don't need it every day. But it's good to know that you have the power. So we should cross borders. We should sometimes, yeah, surprise ourselves. And of course I, I didn't choose for it, but once I was in the situation, it was really a good school for learning to deal with myself also.
My
And yeah, so the
Yes.
negotiation
Okay, so
process.
the negotiation from 20 to 5 million, and
Yeah,
when did that end, and how did it lead to your freedom?
yeah. So after 20 months, they told me we're going to hand you over to another group, and they will, yeah, finalize the process. And that was really worry. Yes, that scared me so much because for 20 months I had contact with the same people. I felt safe. Sometimes I felt respect and like not friendship, but at least appreciation. And then they put me in the trunk of a car without anything, not no extra clothing, no toothbrush, no water. So I really thought it's going to be the end of my life. I thought this is my last ride to, yeah, to my grave, because somewhere in the mountains they will, yeah, kill me. But then luckily they drove me to the police station, and I didn't know that I saw guys without masks, so, and they were really, yeah, evil looking guys, and I thought they're going to kill me. They don't mind to show their faces, and they said welcome home. I said why? Yeah, we made sure, yeah, we paid for your ransom, and you're free. And I didn't believe them. But then there was a Russian guy with a telephone, and he was calling the Dutch embassy. And I got the ambassador, and he said, "Yeah, we got you out. For 20 months we were fighting to get you out." And that was such a
Wow.
nice voice. And it was Easter. It was also such a nice symbol of resurrection of Jesus. And I felt I had a big beard, and I came from under the ground, sort of a grave. So it felt so much as
Oh
having
my goodness.
a
I'm
rebirth.
getting
Yeah.
bumped just like listening to you right now. How did that feel? Like, what was the first thing that you did when you realized that and have already come to in terms with the reality that you are now a free man? What did you do first?
The first thing was, it was taking a shower for hours, and embracing the guys that got me out, because they are my heroes. They risked their lives, walking into the mountains to a guerrilla group with 1 million that could have made them killed as well. And then, of course, I called my mother to hear her voice. I called my girlfriend, and she still waited for me. I called the driver, and then there was so much mass media with cameras and journalists, because sometimes really fairly I thought people forgot about me. That was also so bad. If you think no one cares, no one does
My
anything to get me out, that also made me feel so bad. And then I could cry also for days and think like, what what's going on, guys.
I'm
I could.
getting teary. Just I think what I'm feeling right now is tears of joy for you because you are so admirable. If
Mhm.
people are going through tough times in their lives, just you have created a new normal even just for me when I say like, okay, things are not really going as well as I planned, but listen, and I'm like, what will Ariel do? Ariel,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
you know,
it's true. It's
Ariel,
we,
Arjan, please tell me again how you spell
Arjan,
Ariel. Okay,
Arjan. Yes,
Aryan,
yes,
Aryan.
Arjan.
Okay, what will Aryan do? Because it's like, okay, if I was, if you are in a situation, remember all the things that you've been through. Remember this broadcast. What will Aryan do? What will Aryan say to me? Um, those are really even very powerful messages because your journey is remarkable, like unforgettable, and don't think for a moment that you were ever forgotten, and now
No,
you have created a very unforgettable legacy. And so what has this led you to do now?
yeah. So my life is turning around two things, like being a keynote speaker, motivational speaker, and exactly what you say is letting people think about their own freedom, their own possibilities, their own connection with themselves, with their own powers from within, but also with the powers that are outside, because you're always connected with people and a surrounding around you. And also being a freedom fighter. I call it freedom fighter. Of course, I don't do it myself, but I let them think about their own freedom, because there's so many people taking themselves hostage, like by fear, by being shy, by wondering what other people think about them, but also financial crisis, cultural crisis, polarization in politics, because we don't want to hear. We are not interested in other people's ideas. And the other thing is, I founded Free a Girl, which is an organization that frees minor girl from sexual exploitation. And when I heard about this, I thought I was waiting for someone to save me, to get me out of this misery, and to get reunited with my family. And there's so many youngsters like under 16 that are used as sex slaves, and no one cares for them, and the governments don't care in India or Cambodia. And I think that has to change. We have to get them home, and we have to do everything. And that's my purpose now. So that's why the freedom fighter, freedom for yeah,
How
minor
long,
girls, but
how long
also
ago did this
freedom of
happen,
mind.
Arjun?
Hmm.
Like how long did this happen? How long ago?
16 years ago, in 2002 till 2004.
My
And
goodness. You know what I love about what you shared is that your being a freedom fighter is not just all about being physically being held hostage, or it's not just imprisonment in a physical way, but it's all about the mind.
yes, correct.
How do you free yourself from all of those limiting beliefs that you continue to hold that prevent you from living a life that is meaningful? um,
Yes,
like,
correct.
also what really pierced into my heart when with what you shared is the strength of your faith, because when you had the chance to even fight for your life and start shooting them with two magazines of like ammunition, right?
Yes,
You chose to live by your values.
yeah.
And that is really quite remarkable. So what would you say, what if there were three most powerful life lessons that you would like to share with our audience? What would those be?
Yeah, so release your inner freedom, that's for sure. That's lesson number one. And you can try that by pushing the borders, doing things that you don't dare to do, going to people that you don't want, yeah, you want to see, but you don't dare to see. So that's internal freedom. But then you still, from thinking, you have to do it. So that's lesson one. Then connect with other people, because um, yeah, on your own you can do lots of things, but together you can do more. There's always people that know more. So be curious to other people. And the third one is surprise yourself. Really cross the borders. Make sure every day you grow a little bit. So never waste a good crisis.
Oh, what did you? Then we just, I was like, what did he just say? Never waste a good crisis.
Yeah, like it's not my own words. It's from Churchill, the prime minister of England. But lots of people, yeah, don't have the power to deal with setbacks and adversity, but it's part of life. Realize it's part of life, and you as a resilience coach, you know that sometimes we try to live life without any problems, but it's not possible. So be ready to take control again, even if it does, if your life is not going like you expected it to go.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm very, very inspired. I'm sure many other people there are inspired because what you have taught us is not only about life skills, but it's all about, like, really, even in business, you can apply this.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
can apply the lessons from here. I hope that somebody would actually make a movie out of your story, because it is such a worthwhile story to share because it has so many powerful lessons within it, and it's not fiction. This is real, and it's mind-blowing, inspiring in so many different levels.
No,
And
thank you for.
first of all, I'm sure people would love to be able to get a hold of your book. Please talk to us about your book. Where do we buy it?
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. That's the easiest. And yeah, it's called Held Hostage. And my name you can see in the screen, and then it will pop up. And yeah, it's yeah, you've read it. I can say it's a fantastic book, but it's you can read it easily. It's not nicely done. It was a nice process as well. The other thing is freeagirlusa.org. That's where you can support our cause to free more girls. And like you said, if there's anyone who wants to have a maybe now like a webinar, yeah, you can also send an email to me or to Furley, and then I would love to talk to your people, talk to your employees, or to your Rotary, and yeah, you can hear more of the story. And of course, the guy who makes movies, if he wants to
Yeah,
contact me, yeah,
this movie producers, script writers there, like, this is one story you don't want to miss out on, because this is real. It makes me think of, like, say, for example, Erin Brockovich, right? Like, she did something phenomenal, and then it turned into a movie, and she's now a household name. And the
no,
same thing with you, and yours is really, like, physically, test physically trying, because as I've said, you have written also in the back of your book, your faith will be tested, your strength will be tested, your resilience will be put to a test. I am telling you, you have exemplified what it is to be resilient, to be
yeah,
strong, to be faithful to your values and to your faith, and to continue to live, with hope. And I love that connectivity that you have created. Yes, it is not friendship, but it, being able to reach out to people with, your authentic, with your authentic self,
yeah,
just
sure.
without any pretenses. Basically, you were able to actually to to educate them. Like, to this day, I keep saying, like, my gosh, he educated his prisoners.
Yeah, no,
Not
but it's interesting. You have,
your captors, right? Is that
yeah,
how
but
is
you
that?
have this Stockholm syndrome that people start living according to the wishes of the ideals of the kidnappers. But maybe in my situation, it was a bit the other way around. I also taught them a little bit about my culture, and sometimes they even, yeah, made their direction into my culture. But it's also a story about seeing and being able to make from darkness a light place again. So
Yeah,
yeah,
making your mess your message. Like, actually, my one woman show is actually called "Make Your Mess Your Message," because I've been through many adversities in life, and I've turned it around. And just like you, I speak about it, I coach people about it. And because we cannot be the best kept secret. If we have something really powerful to share that would change lives, definitely go out there and share it. And you definitely will be a phenomenal keynote speaker to any big events out there. Like, you have a great lesson to share, not just like one lesson, several lessons on life and
yeah,
mindset and in business. So, well, we thank you so very much. I hope that you are going to get his book, Held Hostage. It's on Amazon. Actually, I already picked up. I have to just make the time now to read it, because now I would read it in a whole different way, because I could just imagine myself, being able to picture you as you speak about it. And also, free a girl. Did you say free a girl?
yeah, Free Girl
Free a
USA.
girl.
.org.
Okay. sex trafficking is so widespread, and
Yes, it's
you can save
horrible.
a girl's life. And so if you want to get involved in this as well, Aryan is going to be, of course, very, very instrumental in helping, in connecting you with the right people, so we
Yeah,
can
sure. Yeah.
magic happen. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to work more in the future with you on
Yeah,
resilience.
thanks so much, and I would appreciate that. And
And
it's
one day
quite
I
nice to meet you now.
will, you know, you are, actually, except for my, I actually had my old manager when I was in pharmaceutical sales was actually married to a Dutch, and that was the only Dutch person I know. And now I have a Dutch friend. Woohoo!
Oh yeah,
But one day
a
I would
new
love,
American one.
yeah, I
Great.
to be able to visit the Netherlands one day, and like and actually interview live in person, because, like, as I've said, your story is inspirational in the most profound level. So, Aryan, thank
Yeah,
you so very, very much. I wish you and your family a blessed holiday, and I hope that 2021 would also bring you incredible blessings. And stay
you.
well, and let's stay connected. And for you out there in the audience, I hope that you have learned such great pearls of wisdom from this remarkable human being. He is exemplary in so many ways, and we hope that we can all muster the resilience and courage from deep within us to move forward in life, even if we've dug down deep in a hole of darkness.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you so much, Aryan, and
Thank you, Ferdy. Same to you. Have a nice and a happy holidays.
okay, you too. All right. Until next time, this is Furley Almonte from Faces of Resilience. Live with life with gratitude and intention. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.